everybody. My name is Jamel Boukabou. I'm a 2-star executive with Youngevity International. I'd like to welcome all of you, but very, very big thank you to Dr. Joel Wallach, who is a naturopathic doctor, has a book in the Smithsonian, speaks at the UN, recently spoke at a Tesla event, which was featured on a CD that highlighted that event, and is well known for well over 75 publications in scientific journals all over the world. And I could go on, but I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that's participated so far. This is a recorded call. I'm not a healthcare professional, so please consult your own, but I believe Dr. Wallach is the best doctor on the planet. And if you are interested in what Dr. Wallach is saying today, and this is your first time, please contact the person that referred this video or a Zoom call to you. Dr. Wallach, g'day and welcome to week number 34.
Well, good day, Jamal, and thank you for all you and your team do. It's really been a great thing, and it's just the beginning. We have, another 300 years to go. That's the way I look at it. So thank you very much. And we have several new books. I think we got 3 new books coming out here. I think at least one of them will be ready by the end of the year and within the first couple of months of the next year. And so we're very excited about that. And one of them is a 300-page recipe book of safe recipes, what to eat safely. And of course, we talked about that earlier today. People are very interested in the bad foods because they talk about them all the time. And they say, well, my family's been eating them forever. And well, most of these bad foods are not switch on, switch off. In other words, you eat them today, you don't die tonight. But if you eat them 3 days a week, you'll die, say, 3 months or 3 years or 10 years down the line. And so I'm going to start out with probably the biggest one and go to the others after that. The biggest one is gluten, wheat, bran, rye, oats, whether it's in beer or scotch or bourbon or rye whiskey or bread or pancakes or waffles or French toast or spaghetti, flour tortillas, anything with wheat, barley, rye, and oats in it, oatmeal, and so forth. There are no gluten-free oats. The gluten in oats is called gliadin, and just because it's a different name, being shot in the head with a projectile is just as deadly as being shot in the head with a bullet. Okay, the name doesn't matter; it's what it is. Okay, what gluten does is gluten is a protein in these grains, and produces a substance called pro-inflammatory cytokines, which are extremely dangerous when it comes to the villi in the intestine. Your small intestine, when you open it up during surgery or an autopsy, it should look like a shag rug with all those finger-like villi sticking up. The villi produce about 98% of the absorptive surface in the intestine. Well, this is why little kids who are 3, 4, 5 years old, when they get the COVID virus, they get common cold-like symptoms. They've only been eating gluten for maybe a year or two. They've maybe lost 0.5% of their absorptive surface, and they get vitamins and minerals dripped in their milk and formula. Their mother's breastfeeding them, and she's taking vitamins and minerals. So they're getting the vitamins and minerals. They're getting gluten, but it's from just a very short period of time. Now, gluten over time will cause many, hundreds of different diseases. They're all secondary to the loss of those villi and lack of nutrition. Some of the more common ones, of course, are skin problems: eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, those kind of things. And so when people have things like psoriatic arthritis, they've got the psoriasis of the skin, they've got arthritis. Both the arthritis and the skin issues are nutritional deficiencies. And even if you're supplementing, the efficiency of absorption is way down because you've been eating gluten for a long time. Excuse me. Pregnant women, or women who are sexually active and are going to get pregnant, they are, even if they're taking prenatal vitamins, their efficiency of absorbing them, and getting them to an embryo is very low. And so I don't know why. I took all my prenatal vitamins, and why did my baby have 3 birth defects? Okay, well, that's because you've been eating gluten all your life and you can't absorb those nutrients, so the baby got left out. Okay. There are talking about these blood clots with some of these vaccines. These blood clots, of course, are caused by deficiencies of certain nutrients. These same nutrients, they're big, clumsy nutrients. And when you're deficient in them, you can't absorb them because of the gluten damage to your intestines. So the efficiency of absorption is way down. And you wind up with these skin problems. You wind up with asthma. You wind up with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. You can wind up with blood clots. And it's very important to be sure to stay away from gluten. Gluten also causes diabetes, not directly, but indirectly, since you cannot absorb the nutrients necessary to prevent and reverse type 2 diabetes. 98% of all diabetes is a nutritional deficiency of a single nutrient. There's actually 2 nutrients that can cause it, deficiencies, one or the other or both. Okay, they're both minerals. And people say, well, tell me. No, you take the entire program because you're going to be more efficient because those minerals need cofactors to work perfectly. And also, usually when people say, well, my doctor told me I've got some scurvy, just take some vitamin C. Well, that might get rid of the vitamin C deficiency, but there's scurvy and beriberi and pellagra and all these other things that are related to scurvy because they're all vitamin deficiencies. And if you're eating gluten, and even if you're supplementing at recommended daily amounts, you're not going to be very healthy. Asthma is a big one. Skin problems are a big one. The intestines really are damaged heavily, and people get things like celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, colitis. And people say, well, yeah, my doctor says I have an autoimmune disease like lupus. Well, are you eating gluten? Well, yeah, I eat oatmeal for breakfast every morning. Well, that's why you have your disease, okay? And people, they wind up with lupus and they wind up with psoriatic arthritis and that sort of stuff. It's all because they're eating gluten. I cannot say that enough. Also, people will be obese. They say, well, if I'm not absorbing nutrition, how come I'm overweight? Well, when you're missing minerals because you can't absorb them, excuse me, because you're eating gluten, people develop a behavior called pica, P-I-C-A, and cravings. Yeah, I kind of crave something, so I eat a little bit of fruit and I eat a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I might have 2 helpings of tortillas instead of 1. Well, that's why you gain weight, because you're minerally deficient. And those mineral deficiencies cause that behavior pica, and you're just never satisfied. You can eat a 5,000 calorie breakfast and you're still hungry because of that pica. Look it up, P-I-C-A. So that's all caused by gluten consumption because you can't absorb the minerals even if you're supplementing, and you still wind up with that pica behavior and you can become obese. And then you're really in trouble because obesity is one of the biggest factors or pre-existing conditions that cause a COVID infection to be a killer. Okay, well, why is that? Well, you've been eating gluten all your life. So I cannot say that enough. Now, we have 3 states in America that are over 5,000 new cases a day of COVID. One of them, Michigan's a little state in the Midwest, and I couldn't figure out why they were so high. They were the highest number of deaths. I mean, they beat New York. They only have like 10% of the population of New York, and they had more cases, more deaths. That's because they have the highest rate of home microbreweries, because they're all factory workers and everything. They want to come home and have a beer, and they don't want to spend money for the beer, so they have their little microbreweries at home. And they have the highest numbers of breweries in America. And so what do you make beer out of? Well, in Australia, they make some beer out of rice. In New Zealand, they make some beer out of rice. In Asia, they make beer out of rice. But in the USA, almost 99.9% of all beer is made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And so that's why they have these problems. And so let's look at a couple more. Again, asthma in kids can be caused by a gluten problem because they can't absorb those nutrients. They wind up with asthma. And then another disease called rheumatoid arthritis is actually nutritional deficiency arthritis, which can be caused by a gluten issue because you can't absorb minerals efficiently. So you're going to wind up with that nutritional deficiency arthritis. And then you get, because your immune system is low, your bone marrow is low. You can't produce enough white blood cells and red blood cells and platelets and antibodies. And so doctors want to give you a shot every month or every week of iron and B12 because you have this anemia and low platelets, low white blood cells, and they tried giving you a prescription of iron and B12 pills and capsules, and didn't work because you couldn't absorb them because your intestines were dead because all those villi were gone. And so instead of looking like a shag rug, now your intestines look like a plastic tube. And so probably 90% of the health problems out there in countries and communities that have a background with Europe, okay, they're the ones who are in trouble because they're eating gluten. And even if they're supplementing, they're not going to get an efficient amount of absorption because of the death of those villi in the intestines. Gluten directly can cause diarrhea and belly pain and all kinds of intestinal stuff, can cause constipation. Gluten can cause memory problems. How does gluten cause memory problems? Well, memory problems are due to nutritional deficiencies. And if you cannot absorb these essential fatty acids, you cannot absorb cholesterol. Cholesterol makes up 75% of the brain weight of your brain. Okay. And what do they roll chicken and fish in before they fry it? Wheat flour. Okay. And so you're getting a double hit there because when you fry stuff, you get superheating the fat in the fish and the meat and turns them into trans fatty acids, which cause cancer. You fry eggs, whether they're cracked and you fry them in a pan full of oil. Okay. You're turning the fat in that egg into trans fats, heterocyclamines, and acrylamides. And so they're one of the biggest causes of not only cancer, but also plaque in the arteries. Plaque in the arteries are not caused by cholesterol. Plaque in the arteries are caused by oils. We're talking about heated oils and just oils room temperature or oils out of the refrigerator. We're talking about extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, sesame seed. All of these things are supposed to be good for you. But when you cook with them, you're turning them into trans fats, heterocyclamines, acrylamides, and that irritation in the bloodstream causes the plaque in the arteries, causes blood clot in the veins. Okay, you got to give up cholesterol, give up eggs, and give up animal fat and all that kind of stuff, and we'll give you statin drugs to lower your cholesterol, and then you get ED, erectile dysfunction, and you go through menopause at age 25 because estrogen and testosterone are 95% by weight cholesterol. Okay, and so if you're following that incorrect information, you're as predicted, you're going to get those problems. Okay, and then of course you become a dairy cow for your doctor. You get milked every month to go there and get tests and treatments and prescriptions and that kind of stuff, and really change your diet, take your 90 essential nutrients, you'll avoid all that. Another big one, in addition to the gluten, the oils, is processed meats. And we're talking about, bacon. Bacon has like 8 different chemicals in it. And so just getting nitrate-free bacon isn't enough. These chemicals in the meat, they were put there originally for storage so that they could take them on ships and, like salt pork and that kind of stuff. And bacon, you didn't have any problems because it never spoiled. Well, that's scary. If meat doesn't ever spoil, that tells you there's something really bad going on in there. And so processed meats are bad. And then the thing that really hurts you, in addition to the fried foods, the processed meats, the oils, and the glutens, is sugar. Sugar also turns into some very bad stuff, which acrylamides, which cause irritation, can contribute to plaque in the arteries, whether it's in the brain or the kidneys, and you get kidney failure from plaque in the arteries in your kidneys, and you wind up getting on dialysis. And I treat so many people with dialysis, and usually within weeks they're off of dialysis because there's nothing wrong with the kidney, but the arteries taking the dirty blood into the kidney are blocked with this plaque because they're getting, they're eating all this bad food. And so if you're eating bacon sandwiches on whole wheat bread, you're getting gluten and bacon. And if you're eating flour tortillas and drinking beer, it's kind of interesting that one of the more famous beers out of Mexico is called Corona beer, just like the coronavirus has caused the the pandemic we have now. I thought that was kind of interesting. So when you compare the countries that have all these different problems, the ones who eat the most gluten have the biggest problems. Okay, and so whether it's from diabetes or high blood pressure or arthritis, autoimmune diseases, which are really not infectious diseases, and when you look at northern India, they eat 95% of the wheat in the country, and so they have 95% of the deaths. The southern 20 states and 7 territories in India only have 5% of the deaths because they live on rice and sweet potatoes and don't eat gluten. Okay, and this is, you know, they were just showing on the news here tonight all these cremation fires out in the streets where they're cremating all these bodies. They had 9,000 deaths in 1 month. Okay, there, and it's going crazy. And so gluten, wheat, brought around oats, whether it's in beer or whiskey or in tortillas or bread or pancakes or waffles, cereal, spaghetti, pizza crust. I eat pizza 3 nights a week, Jamal, for dinner and twice a week for breakfast. But it's with a crust that's made out of cauliflower. Okay, it's a cauliflower crust. And I have a third of a pint of ice cream every night after dinner also, about 10 different flavors. But they all got the big gluten-free symbol on them. And they also have the words gluten-free underneath the gluten-free symbol. And I still read the ingredients because every once in a while, for instance, they're selling now a gluten-free Oreo cookie, and you read the ingredients, the third ingredient in there is oats, because they believe that there's no gluten in oats. Well, the gluten in oats is called gliad, so it doesn't matter what it's called, it's still gluten. And so that's why they're having problems with that Oreo cookie that's supposed to be gluten-free, because it's not really gluten-free because the third ingredient is oats. And so, again, frying in itself is bad. Even these air fryers are bad because it heats the fat in the meats and the fish to frying temperatures, and they turn into trans fats, heterocyclamines, and acrylamides, which cause cancer and plaque in your arteries. So even the air fryers are not good. And, you know, people think, well, you know, I'm not heating all those oils and everything. Yeah, it's just you're coming at a different direction. And, you know, it was kind of, they were thinking in the right direction, but they chose poorly, you know, it's one of those kind of things. That's an incorrect way to go. I roast everything, we bake everything, we boil everything. But roasting and baking is our 2 most common ways of cooking. Tomorrow night, Saturday nights are my favorite because I get medium rare lamb chops from Australia. Huh, would you look at that? So yeah, we get a lot of lamb chops from Australia. And so we cook them medium rare. And so the fat is still white, and like only the outside is a little brown and the inside, you know, almost looks like tomatoes. It's, you know, a nice bright red and everything, but it's warm. And so it's very nice to eat. And I'll have a big sweet potato with it with some butter, not margarine, but some butter. I also like to have with it a salad, no croutons, which are, you know, the baked dried bread and crust and that kind of stuff. People want the crunchy stuff. Well, you want that. Okay. If you want something in your salads, we have a whole division called Savor. We have all the safe salad dressings and that sort of thing. We also have the safe pink Himalayan salt. When the oceans went away millions of years ago in the Himalayan mountains, all the salt and the minerals in the sea collected there. And so we have bought a lot of that land. And so we have a lock on the pink Himalayan salt, and I have it for breakfast on my wild rice. Okay, I have it on my salmon and my fish. I have it on my sweet potatoes. I will put it on my eggs, which I had 3 soft-boiled eggs for this morning. Tonight, after this interview with you guys, I'm going to have some of the gluten-free pizza and 3 soft-boiled eggs, okay, along with a salad. And so This is, I might even put some hamburgers on top of the pizza. Okay. But it's gluten-free pizza. It's got the cauliflower crust, not wheat crust. And so again, we have a book coming out here pretty soon. It's 300 pages of these sort of things, recipes and stuff by some great chefs that deal with gluten-free and oil-free cooking. I'm very excited about that. That's going to save a lot of people. And so you'll be one of the first to know about it. We'll get some out there in Australia. And so even the wombats will be safe.
Great stuff. And a lot of people say, oh, with all these foods that you can't eat, what can you eat? But Dr. Wallach's just gone through all the things that we can eat. There's a lot of things that are.
Oh, yeah.
And with the savoured division in Youngevity, you can make your food taste really good as well. There's a lot of, all gluten-free. There's a lot of different spices, rubs, taco mixes, guacamole mixes. There's a lot of stuff, isn't there, Phil?
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And so between the salad dressings and the things that you put on meats and salads and things like that, and your eggs and whatnot, and sauces, it's really, and the salt, it's really a great division. And so I keep talking about it because I want people to be safe. I want them to enjoy their food. And that way they stick with a diet if they enjoy the food. And so that's why we came up with our Savor division. So people didn't have to look too hard to find the safe stuff. We provide that. And when I go on my trips, one of the little duffel bags I have inside my big suitcase is all the spices and things that I use. I take them with me because you can't find them in restaurants and you can't find them at other people's houses. So I always take everything I need with me. One suitcase is, a month's supply full of vitamins and minerals and spices and sauces and that kind of stuff, and all my sort of hand sanitizers and my let's see here, the colloidal silver, all these kinds of things, and my rebound. I take the little sticks, so 30 of those little 30 sticks in a box, because I don't like to take these rebound 12-ounce cans on the plane because they're so heavy. It limits me, but I can take like 5 boxes and I give away the samples too. Okay.
I just had an associate in America that ordered a case of those rebound cans that Dr. Wallach held up. And in Australia and New Zealand, we can get the rebound in the canisters. So it's about it's a bit bigger than half the size of a tangy tangerine.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a new listener, your foundation is your 90 essential nutrients that you'll hear Dr. Wallach talking about all the time. So getting off the bad foods, getting on those 90 nutrients that Dr. Wallach talks about, getting on the healthy start pack. And then there are all the extra things. So if you want to create a business, contact the person that referred this to you and they can show you how to do that. And we've just gone over all the other products that you add on to your order. So you're swapping where you're shopping and you're doing that to the people that want to do it, and you're providing information to your customers. So your customers that don't want to do the business, don't do the business, you're giving them the information. So this call is for bringing everybody that wants to hear Dr. Wallach talk about anything. 82, I think, 82 years young. He's been off the bad foods since a very young age because he found
since I was 9.
Since he was 9. So he found about all this kind of thing when he was very young. So I just want to say to everybody, thanks for participating. The best format is to bring somebody on the call or have them on the call, because Dr. Wallach will quite often ask a few more questions. And we do have some people on the call ready to go to Q&A now. So I thought I'd just mention that. If you do need to contact the corporate office, Youngevity is a direct selling company. So everybody has a sponsor and an active, what we call upline. So that's somebody like a distributor like me, and they're there to help you, whether you be a customer or distributor. If you're in the United States or Canada, call 1-800-982-3189 in California there. And if you're in Australia or New Zealand, call 1-800-756-467 That is the corporate office. That's where the products are shipped from. And we are going to go to Q&A. Thank you, Dr. Wallach, for all that information. When I spoke to Doc just before we started the call, I just said, would we be able to go back and go over the bad foods and the good foods? Because, you know, it really is essential to understand not just supplementing, but
yeah. And the thing that fools you about the bad foods is they don't hurt you immediately. It's kind of a slow thing over time. You say, well, I've been eating oatmeal for breakfast for 25 years. Why am I getting sick now? Because you've been eating gluten for breakfast for 25 years. Okay. And it's a little bit. It's not like wham, you get shot in the chest with a shotgun. Okay. And so that's why it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Insidious. It's so insidious. It kind of sneaks up on you. And then you get 10 diseases at one time. Now, why did I get diabetes and high blood pressure and kidney failure and heart attacks and COPD in my lungs all at the same time? And I've got psoriatic arthritis. I mean, I was well all my life. I exercise. Well, exercise, if you don't supplement properly, can be a negative.
Thank you very much, Doc. Absolutely. We're going to go to Q&A now.
Okay.
The question, we've got Dina. Dina, if you want to unmute yourself, let us know where you're from, and you can talk to Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. I'm from Sydney.
Hi. How can we help you?
My 16-year-old daughter has her menstrual cycle every 14 days instead of 28 days.
Okay.
And she's a little low on iron, not much, but a little low on iron. She's 43 kg and 5'3" height.
Okay, 43 kg, so she's about 100 pounds.
Yes, yeah, just under.
Okay. Okay. All right. So does she have any skin problems, any eczema, dermatitis, or psoriasis, or acne?
Acne, yeah, she's been getting acne around her chin and her nose area, yeah.
Okay. Does she have any bowel problems, constipation, diarrhea, or irritable bowel syndrome, or anything like that?
Occasionally, but not very occasionally.
Yeah, because she's only 16 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So she hasn't been eating gluten yet for 30 years.
Yes.
It's a timeline, right?
Mm.
Okay. So she needs to get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat bran, no sugar. And then at 100 pounds, I'd have her take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. Okay. A half a dose of everything twice a day. I would also have her take the 1 bottle a month of our MSM. So she can take 3 of those twice a day or 2-3 times a day, whatever is easier for her. And that's going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, skin, that kind of stuff. Also valves in the heart and so on. And then let's see here, for her cycle, I want her to take the Woman's FX. Okay, she can take 2 doses a day of the Woman's FX. She can also take the Xerafem. She could take 2 of those tablets twice a day. That's 1 bottle a month of the Xerafem. Okay, it gives her ovaries the raw materials to make estrogen properly. I also want her to eat 3 eggs twice a day. Okay, because estrogen is 95% cholesterol. So she needs 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. Hard-boiled eggs won't count. Fried eggs cause cancer. So I want her to have soft yolks, soft boiled, soft poached, soft scrambled butter. And if she's worried about, a lot of people say, well, I'm a vegetarian. I don't want to eat any eggs. Well, the chicken on that yolk is that little white dot about half the size of a button on your shirt. That little white dot on top of the yolk, that's the chicken. So you can take a little knife or scissors and a tweezers and remove that little chicken and say a prayer over it and flush it down the toilet and give it a burial at sea. Okay. And then she can eat the eggs because then it's just the raw materials. Now I want you to think about the nutrition in that egg. That chick starts out as that little button, half the size of a button on your shirt. And in 21 days, it has a heart that's beating. It has a liver and lungs and brain and eyes and muscles and stomach and kidneys and all that kind of stuff. It started out as that little white dot on the top of the yolk. But all the stuff that was needed to make that chick with all the organs and tissues and everything is in the yolk and the white of that egg. So a lot of nutrition in eggs. Okay. So if you don't want to eat the chicken, you can remove the chicken and bury it in the backyard, or give it a burial at sea, whatever way you want to do it. But people need to eat eggs.
Okay. So doctor, when I took her to the doctor, they suggested going on the pill. How do you feel about that? I don't agree with it, but what would you?
Well, if she's okay, the pill, of course, is to prevent pregnancy. And so if she's sexually active at 16
No.
years of age, she right.
No.
Okay. So then that's kind of the wrong approach, okay, to solving the problem. And so same way with gaining weight. People say, well, just don't eat animal fat, you won't gain weight. Well, that's nonsense. Okay. The same thing is true when you have something going on, you know, with your cycle. You don't want to be taking the birth control pills. Well, that'll help make the cycle proper. No, stay away from that. No, you want nutrition to fix it, so your cells can work properly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Wallach, I just have a quick question. The difference between OsteoFX and bone building product.
And bone builder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I use that instead of OsteoFX or?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I take the bone builder with me on the airplanes because the Cal-Toddy and the OsteoFX is too heavy to take on the airplane. So that's why we came out with that one. So I can take
Okay, lovely.
the bone builder with me. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor.
Thanks, Dina. Now, these calls are recorded and they're uploaded to the New Zealand official Facebook Youngevity page. Usually takes about a day or so for myself and moderator Mike to put that together. We put the minutes at the bottom of the in the description, so you can go to your question and play it. You can play it at a meeting, you can share it to somebody, you can download it. And it doesn't have my distributor information on it, so you can do with that what you like. And that usually takes about 2 days, but all the archive, you could go to the New Zealand official Facebook page, Youngevity one, and you can find all the previous recordings there. Michelle Graham has a question for an associate. Michelle, if you want to go ahead. Michelle is from Brisbane. You can go ahead.
Hello, Michelle. Should we go to somebody else, come back to her?
Yep, sure. We are going to go to Gracie from Melbourne. Go ahead, Gracie.
Hello, Gracie.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. How are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. How can we help you today?
Yep, it's lovely. I'm asking a question on behalf of a friend who is allergic to, sorry, I've just lost you here, who is allergic to egg whites. And her naturopath has advised her to cut back on animal protein. So she's asking, what can she have if she's allergic to egg whites? What's a good replacement for that?
Okay, well, egg whites are primarily a protein. And so she can still eat the eggs, which, you can learn how to pour off the egg white and just take the yolk out of the egg. Okay, so you can separate them and still eat the yolk. And so what you want to do is, I like to eat fish livers, chicken livers, beef liver. They have really high quality protein in them, plus a lot of minerals and stuff. And so if you can't eat egg whites, eat liver.
Okay, good option, healthy option, I guess. Okay.
Live with liver.
Live with liver, okay. And the comment from her naturopath who suggested to cut back on animal protein, what is your advice for that?
Okay, I'm not big on that. Okay, I'm. Let's see, what should I say? I'm not big on vegetarians. I love vegetarians. I eat them every day. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but cutting back on animal protein is not a wise thing. It's highly concentrated, has a lot of minerals in it. They're cousins of ours. And so when you're eating animal protein, you're getting the nutrients in that meat that you need to keep your muscles going. Okay. It's hard to get those minerals out of carrots. Okay. And beets and that kind of stuff. And so even though you supplement with minerals, and of course, I eat meat at minimum of twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. I eat a lot of cheese. Okay. I have a lot of cheese, and I eat a lot of yogurt. So these are all animal proteins. And so people can eat yogurt and cheese and eggs. They don't have to eat a lot of red meat, but for instance, they should maybe eat chicken livers. It used to be, people who were really wealthy and traveled and everything, they would have chicken livers for breakfast with their eggs. Okay, that kind of stuff. And so, and they were the ones who were healthier and lived the longest because the liver stores all these minerals and things in them. It has 50 different minerals stored in the liver, plus the EFAs, omega-3s. And so you really, really want to live with liver.
Okay. So you're not big on vegetables, but we're getting that from the 90 nutrients. Yeah.
Well, see, when you eat the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, not only does it have the 90 essential nutrients in it, it has an additional 110 nutrients. Okay, the 90, all experts agree that they're essential. The other 110, they're still arguing over them. So I'm not waiting. So when you look at the ingredient list on the Healthy Start Pack, okay, it has the 90 essential nutrients in it. When you look at the ingredient list of the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, oh my gosh, it's got 215 nutrients in there, including the 90. Okay. And so that's why when people have 5 and 6 and 8 and 10 different diseases, they have a gluten problem, they're not absorbing. That's why they have all these different diseases. They really need that extra punch from the 110, 115 nutrients, 210 and 215 nutrients that you get in the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. That's why I like to give that during the COVID pandemic, when people have 6, 8, 10, 12 different pre-existing conditions, because they're not going to take 8 and 12 different bottles of stuff. And so if you can give them one product that has 215 in it, that's the way I like to go.
Yeah, no worries. One more question on fruit. Is fruit considered sugar? And is fruit okay with someone with candida?
Okay, well, again, if you have candida, there's a problem, okay, that you're dealing with.
Yes.
Okay. And so what you want to be doing, okay, is I use 2 droppers full of our colloidal silver under my tongue, 30 minutes for each meal and 30 minutes for bedtime. I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
There's no alcohol in it, so it doesn't burn or sting. Little kids like it. They like to play with it and everything like that. And that it keeps the candida levels down. Also, we have like 5 different probiotic products. You take those and it'll nudge away. It'll outplay the candida, and so you have your positive, healthy bacteria, or the probiotics, which have nudged away the bad guys. Okay. Yeah. And so if you are consciously doing that, then you don't have to worry about the bad guys, and you supplement properly and don't eat the bad stuff. You'll add 25 to 50 healthy years of your life without being on prescription drugs, which have their own issues.
That's right. So fruit after that is okay then? It's okay to have 3 to 5 pieces of fruit daily?
Okay. Well, it depends. Okay. For instance, I like to eat a banana, okay, for breakfast. I'll eat an orange for breakfast. I will eat half a grapefruit for breakfast. I'll have a handful of grapes with cheese and stuff like that at lunchtime, as opposed to a big heavy lunch, because I have so many radio programs and Zooms and lectures to give that kind of stuff. So I'll have three or 4 or 5 of those little Bell's cheeses, about the diameter, and maybe 2 inches in diameter, maybe an inch thick kind of thing, little baby Bell cheeses. And then I'll have just a clump of grapes, okay, with that. And so then at dinner time, I'll have my glass of wine, I have my ice cream, and I will have a salad and a meat of some kind, or pizza. and either baked sweet potato or rice. And
Mhm.
so people say, don't you ever get bored eating the same way all the time? Well, I want you to think about your dog and your cat. You give them the same food every day for 20 years. They're there wagging their tail. They want it right now. Okay. Because food should not be an entertainment, although it should be fun. It should taste good. But if your whole life is built around food, then you're missing something here.
True, true. Lovely. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
That's great information. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye.
You
Great.
too.
Thanks, Gracie. Some great questions there too. We're going to go to Amy
Thank you.
in California, and then we're going to go to Michelle. And I just want to thank everyone again for participating and making this call happen. We'll be back next week, and please invite your friends or associates to be live on the call, because Dr. Wallach quite often asks more questions. But Amy, go ahead, and welcome to the call again.
Thank you, Jamal, and hello, everyone. Hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hi.
I am speaking on behalf of a 52-year-old female, 170 pounds. She's 5 feet, and she suffers from pulmonary fibrosis, along with a chronic coughing with lots of phlegm. She has shortness of breath. She's had gastritis for a couple years now, and high blood pressure.
Okay. Now, this coughing she has she been diagnosed with COPD? You know?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, a chronic coughing can be COPD. Does she ever complain about hiccups?
No.
Does she ever complain about ringing in her ears?
No.
Does she ever complain about balance problems or dizziness?
I believe that, yes.
Okay. All right. And let's see here. Does she ever complain about anything going on in her hands or wrists or arms or shoulders or neck?
I'm not too sure on that.
Okay. Let's see here. Has she lost her sense of smell or taste?
No.
Has she ever had Bell's palsy or trigeminal neuralgia?
No.
Okay. Is she losing her vision?
Don't think so.
Okay. You want to ask those questions. All right. Here we go. If she has dizziness, okay, a little bit, this could be osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the vestibular branch of the 8th cranial nerve. Okay, causes a dizziness or balance problems. And let's see here. We also look at this pulmonary stuff. This could be a squeezing of the 10th cranial nerve by the skull when you have osteoporosis of the skull, the 10th cranial nerve called the vagus nerve. And the recurrent nerve results in this chronic coughing called COPD. They can also get an irregular heartbeat or fast heart rate. Sometimes we call it atrial fibrillation. And doctors want you to believe it's a heart disease. No, it's actually osteoporosis of the skull squeezing the 10th cranial nerve. Okay, so you want to ask about that. If she ever gets a fast pulse rate or anything like that. And then let's see here, gastritis, also a squeezing of that 10th cranial nerve. You get what's called gastroparesis. There's extreme pain and belching and burping and bloating, and doctors say you might have an ulcer, so they send them in for all these tests for looking for ulcers and all that kind of stuff. And rarely is it an ulcer, but a gastroparesis causing that pain in the stomach. So, okay, here we go. She needs to get rid of all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown rhinos, no sugar. I want her to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. That's 1 per 100 pounds of body weight, but because she has so many problems, she weighs 170 pounds, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose of everything twice a day. Then I want her to have 2 bottles a month of our MSM. So you take 3 with each meal, and they're designed to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between a vertebrae, bone, mixture, bone itself. I want her to get 2 bottles a month of our Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. So you can take 3 of those twice a day, and they will support healthy blood pressure and support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries into the kidneys, the heart, the brain, the eyes, everywhere. Okay. And then because she has pulmonary fibrosis, okay, she's got some scarring in the lungs. I want her to have something that supports her immune system and also is an anti-inflammatory and also a source of rare trace minerals, okay? It's called fucoid Z. It's from the seaweed and algae from the ocean. And she should be taking 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And let's see here. I would also have her take, just in case there's some infection in there, I would also have her take the killer biotic. She could take 3 of those twice a day, or again, our colloidal silver, 2 droppers full under her tongue, 30 minutes for each meal and 30 minutes before bedtime. It's immediately absorbed through the tissue in your mouth. Okay, it never makes it even to your stomach, the colloidal silver. And there's no alcohol in it, so it's non-irritating. There's no taste to it, just tastes like water. Okay, so that's good. And then let's see here. If she has a lot of gas or something like that, she could also take our ultimate enzymes and take 2 of those, say 5-10 minutes for each meal, with a couple ounces of water, and that covers a lot of territory. And as things get better, she can reduce the amounts of these things and, get down to the basic program. Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Clear on that.
What?
Just to clear on that gastritis, you said it comes from the
Squeezing
10th cranial
of
nerve?
the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, is called gastroparesis. Gastroparesis. And you want to get a hold of that book. If you don't have it, it's called It's All in Your Head. I go into the 25. Okay, good. So you want to look up the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, and all the different diseases you get from that one. Some of those nerves, when they get squeezed, you get 15 different diseases. And you'll go to 15 different medical specialists. And they put you on 15 different drugs and everything. It's just osteoporosis of the skull. Osteoporosis of the skull is one of the biggest income earners to medical doctors, because there's so many different diseases that it occurs in. It's not an age thing, it's a nutritional deficiency thing. Okay. Have you ever heard of a doctor talk about osteoporosis of the skull? No, they never do. Because why would they want to shut off their income? Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Look
Amy.
forward to seeing you at some of the California meetings.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yay.
last convention I was at was the one, I think the year before lockdown in San Diego. So I look forward to being back there at the next convention we can be in person.
Yeah, well, it'll be a race to see whether I'm going to be in Australia before you're going to be in America.
That's right.
I'm working on that Great Barrier Reef and how to save that. So be talking to those people who dig for oil and sell oil products and everything, because the carbon dioxide going up in the air is not due to fossil fuels. It's due to electricity. It's due to hydroelectric dams. And there's 3 rivers they've dammed up in let's see here. It's the what's the state?
Queensland.
Queensland. There you go. Queensland. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Those rivers are all locked up in Queensland for damming up for making electricity. I mean, is that ironic that it's hydroelectric plants in Queensland making electricity is causing the death of the Great Barrier Reef, not fossil fuels?
Yep. Look forward to you coming over to Australia, Doc. We've got time for one more. We've got a few minutes to go. Michelle, we're going to try Michelle Graham again. Michelle, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Well, Michelle's having trouble.
I think Michelle's.
Maybe she had, maybe baby's crying. She had to run away.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
there
we
we go.
can.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so I've got a customer. She's 73 years of age with Parkinson's, and she's got really bad gut bloating and pain. She has to stretch out to reduce pressure on the bottom row of ribs. Just a small sip of water sets it off.
How much does she weigh?
She's one sec.
If you just know kilograms, that's fine. I can make the conversion.
Okay, 158 pounds.
Okay.
And she's 5'3.5".
Does she have any high blood pressure, diabetes, or arthritis?
Well, I'll just tell you, she's been on, she was on Paxum for about 20 years for REM sleep disorder. Now they've realised that it causes brain atrophy and possibly her Parkinson's. She's been on meds for Parkinson's and RLS. She's been off all this for about 4 months. She had lower back surgery 40 years ago, mostly at night. She has burning in legs, varies.
Okay.
up-
Yeah, that's sciatica, low back pain, peripheral neuropathies.
Yeah. Yeah. So they've been on the Youngevity supplements for a long time, and they've been following your protocol for Parkinson's.
Okay, well, you need to make sure here, Michelle, that she's drop dead and everybody in her family is drop dead gluten free. Because if
Yeah.
you're taking her supplements and she's still eating gluten, if it's just like one meal a week,
Yeah.
that's enough to keep her from absorbing efficiently, and she won't get the results she should be getting. Okay. Well, we're taking that for 2 years and nothing's happening. Okay. Well, how often do you eat gluten? Well, I only eat gluten for breakfast, on Saturday morning. Well, that's too much.
Yeah. No, they are pretty strict with that, because the son had real bad digestive issues, and they all went gluten free, and he was as good as gold now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, well, so at 158 pounds, because we want to keep in the time range here, 158 pounds, want her to get rid of all the bad stuff, which apparently she's working on. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat bran rhinos, no sugar. And then I want her to eat 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. Hard-boiled eggs won't count. Fried eggs cause cancer, but she can have soft-boiled eggs, soft poached eggs, soft scrambled in butter. I also want her to eat, let's see here. I want her to eat beans at least 2-3 days a week. Okay, they can't be fried, but they can be boiled or steamed or something like that. Okay, I want her to get our Fucoid Z. I want her to take 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month, so you get those weird trace minerals to help her bone marrow make white blood cells and red blood cells and antibodies and platelets and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and again, for the sleep disorder, I want her to take the sleepies just a half hour before bed. She can take a dose of that before bedtime. And again, I think let's go with that. Okay. Don't forget that 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. I get to use the big hammer there. And don't forget the MSM, vitamin D3. She needs vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day, so she can absorb all the minerals and put them in the right places. And let's go there. Okay.
Well, what could help her with the gut issues, with the bloating and the pain?
We'll get off of the gluten.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Oh, well, I want a lot of money. You say, let's go right now to your house. Will you give me $100? You're so serious that you're gluten free. Will you give me $100 for every source of gluten I find? Yeah. So we go to their house. I find 10 sources of gluten. They have to pay me what?
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
I said, well, and they said, well, really? I said, well, you made the bet. I'd have paid you if I'd have lost. Okay, and we didn't find any gluten.
A steak dinner.
What?
And a steak dinner.
And and a steak dinner, and also a big bottle of red wine from France.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had so many wagers that I've won from doctors over that one. And well, I'm eating oats, but there's no gluten in oats. Yeah, it's called gliadin. Okay, the gluten in oats is still gluten, but it's called gliadin, even though it has a different name. Okay. So that causes all these gut problems and so forth. But you can also have osteoporosis of the skull at 73 years old, causing a problem with the osteoporosis of the skull and the 10th cranial nerve. Okay. She can also be causing problems. Let's see here. Yeah, the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, causes gastroparesis. Okay. But gluten is the big one.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pass it on.
Thank you. And give us, I'm on every Friday with Jamel. So, give us a call every couple of weeks. Let us know how this lady's doing, because she has the combination of issues, sleep disorder, Parkinson's disease, gut issues, and so forth. And this is not unusual that people have 3 and 4 and 5 serious different diseases because they cannot absorb nutrition because they're getting gluten.
Yeah, it appears she developed the Parkinson's from the meds that she's been on for the sleep disorder.
Okay,
so,
well, she should make the doctors pay all her bills.
Yeah, that's right. All right, thank you for your time.
Okay, Michelle, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay.
just want to encourage everybody to bring on somebody next week that would benefit from hearing from Dr. Wallach. And if you are a distributor, this is an opportunity for you to be able to follow up and give the person some one-on-one help. And this is why I do this, because I really think it is a positive thing for me to be spending my time with, and I can earn income as well. So instead of me doing a job I don't really love to do, I can do this and earn income, which to me is very rewarding. You can fit this job in around whatever you do. I've got distributors in my upline and downline. Some own radio stations, networks, and some are doctors, and I've got a jockey, and all different people can do Youngevity as a distributor. I'm a musician as well and an actor, so I fill in this. My time is midday on Saturdays, Sydney time, of course, to do these calls. But the rest of my week, I find out when people are available and I'm available, and then I put on meetings now and then. You can organise your time as well, and this is why Dr. Wallach chose Youngevity to be a direct selling company, because we can follow up with people where Dr. Wallach obviously doesn't have that many hours in the day where we do. You can work it on your own time. If you want to know more about this, please contact your active upline. And if you don't know who that is, contact the head office in California or Auckland to find out who that is. I want to thank Dr. Wallach again for participating and making these calls happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamel, for putting them on. It's a lot of work. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And thanks for moderator Mike there. You can see his icon there. He's got his present for his doctor that he's going to give next week. If you could see that icon. It's a picture of him with the gluten giving to his doctor as a present, wrapped up in a bow there. But I want to just thank all the participants as well. I want to just say thank you. See you next week. Bring somebody along, and you can unmute yourselves now and say thank you to Dr. Wallach. Until next week, thank you very much. Everybody welcome next week. Let's make it happen. Thank you, Dr. Wallach.
Well, thank you. And let's save the Great Barrier.
Thank you,
Save the Great
Doc.
Barrier
Thank
Reef. Let's
you.
save the
Thank
world.
you.
Thank you. God bless.